Whatcha filmin' DIYers? It's Walker with DIWHY.LIFE, and in this episode we're going to be unboxing and playing around with a couple of EFS lenses. We got the 10 to 18 millimeter 4.5 and we've got the 18 to 200 millimeter 3.5. Let's take a look. Ew. Let's open this box and see what's inside. It's always fun to get a B&H box. Always an exciting day. Delivered very quick. I think got here in like 3 days. B&H always does such a good job packing. Don't really have to worry. Those look like the lenses. Some extra receipt. We'll just set this to the side. Go for the meat and potatoes. Okay, now there are a couple extra little goodies in here that I threw on my order. The first of which is a mini to standard HDMI cable. Now I have a couple of these, but if you haven't seen my Atomos Ninja 5 video, check that out up here in the corner. It's a awesome little, well, it's a external monitor for your camera, but it's also a video recorder, and it records in super high bit rates at, uncompressed codecs and 422 color and all that good stuff. So it's really good for doing green screens and studio work. But the HDMI connection that comes out of the 90D, if you haven't seen my video on the 90D, check that out here, is HDMI mini. And when I plug the cable in, it definitely feels like it's stressed, like there's tension on it's got the weight of the cord pulling on it. And I have noticed that when it jiggles, it adds a little interference to the video stream, the video signal. So I went and got this 90-degree HDMI mini. So hopefully I can plug that in and maybe throw a little piece of gaff tape over it just to hold it in place and keep it secure while it's recording. Hopefully this solves my problem. So we'll get to that. We'll look at that later. Let's just put all the knives away, kids. Circular polarizing filters for the lenses. Circular polarizers are fantastic. I love them to death. Circular polarizers will get you super blue skies if you're shooting during the day. It'll pull a lot of that blue information back from being blown out. They'll stop you down a couple stops of exposure, so just keep that in mind. But also, when I shoot flooring, like when I'm working at Cali, I shoot a lot of flooring products. The lights that are shining on the floors cause incredible glare, and the circular polarizer eliminates it almost completely. You turn this thing and whoosh, that glare is gone. So circular polarizers, awesome, awesome, awesome addition. Can't recommend them enough. Go get some. You don't really have to spend a lot on the circular polarizers. They all kind of work. I mean, there's some really expensive ones for like $100 on there, but I think I paid like $25 for these, and they're just as good, in my opinion. Doing a little side mouth talking there for you, Marcy. She loves it when I do that. The first lens up is the 18 to 200. Actually, let's rewind. Let's start with the 10 to 18, and then we'll go to the 18 to 200. That would make more sense. So this is the EFS 10 to 18 millimeter. This lens is going to be great for doing interiors, anything you need a super wide angle if you're shooting architecture photography, you're shooting indoors, shooting in tight spaces. This is going to be the lens you're going to want to get. What does the S and EFS mean? Well, there's some debate. I saw a post that said it means short focal length. And I also saw one that said small sensor area. So the S could mean short or small, or I don't know. In my opinion, S means spicy. These lenses are spicy, and they're gonna bring the heat and they're gonna make it hot. So I say S is for spicy. What do you think S is for? You tell me in the comments below. But what the S actually means is that it's specifically designed for smaller sensor cameras. So if you've got a full frame camera, don't even watch this video, because what that's gonna do is it's gonna give you significant vignetting in your image. It's gonna be all black around the edges. So, sorry full framers, exit stage left right now. But if you're shooting ASPC, or you're shooting with Canon's new mirrorless R series, then these lenses will work just fine with those R bodies, as long as you're using the EF to R adapter. I'm a little underimpressed with the build. While, you know, this isn't an L lens with massive glass and a super high price tag, it is a little underwhelming, the weight and the build, but that's okay. As long as it shoots a great image, honestly, I don't really care too much about how it feels in my hand, as long as it functions. The lens, looks like the lens has some zoom action. Very small amount of travel on the zoom, which is expected for 10 to 18. It's only traveling 8mm, so it's got the autofocus, it's got stabilization, which is very nice. This lens, wide open, is 4.5. The reason I chose these lenses is that I realize I'm not going to get the huge apertures and the massive bokeh that a fast lens, something that can shoot, you know, 2.8, you know, 1.8, 1.2 even, will just give you that massive. I mean, when you're doing portraits with those, sometimes the subjects, the tip of their nose is in focus and their eyes are out of focus. It's so incredible. I'm not going to be shooting a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm going to be shooting big spaces in homes or in buildings that have, you know, our products, our flooring, things like that in the space, and I need everything to be in focus. So when you need everything to be in focus in your photos, you're going to be shooting, you know, f8, f12, f14, something in those high, you know, those real kind of pinhole apertures, so that everything is crisp and sharp and in focus. And this will do that. So I'm really looking forward to shooting with this interior. I'm going to do a comparison between these lenses and my trusty 17 to 55, which I couldn't recommend more. I'll pull it off in a minute and show it to you. We'll do a little swap here halfway through this video. In a little bit, I'm gonna swap the lenses out and we'll start shooting with one of these and see how it looks. However, that's the reason why I chose these lenses, is that they aren't quite as expensive as the really expensive fast lenses. You know, you get a bit of a price break when you don't need to shoot 2.8, but they still have autofocus, good autofocus. They still have good stabilization. They're able to shoot super wide. I'm really curious to see what the 10mm versus the 17 on that lens is going to look like. And yeah, I can't wait. All right, now here is the 18 to 200. Let's just make the trash disappear. And that. Now, it's no coincidence I chose these two lenses, and it's no coincidence that Canon designed these two lenses, the 10 to 18, 18 to 200. One leaves off where the other one picks up. That way you get that real wide focal range with two solutions. It's a fantastic thing. It pretty much covers everything you're ever going to want to shoot. You got super wide to super telephoto. What more do you need? Lenses solved. Now the 18 to 200 is similar, but it's a little bit faster. It's 3.5, which will be nice sometimes. And I believe that that's only 3.5 when you are fully pulled back. When you're at the most widest zoom level, you get 3.5. But I'm sure as you start zooming out to 200, it probably slips to up to 5.6 or something like that, I would assume. That's typical for these kinds of lenses, little less expensive lenses. They don't hold that real fast aperture throughout the entire zoom. But it's got autofocus, it's got the stabilization. Now neither of these lenses have the 2-stage stabilization, which is okay. They just have single, which is fine. Here they are. This one definitely feels more weighty. There's definitely more glass. This one feels kind of what I was expecting this one to kind of feel like. This one feels much lighter, much less going on here, but this one feels pretty considerable. I like that. That feels weighty. All right, on the camera now is the 18-200. Can you see a difference? This is my 17-55. And to all you photographers and videographers out there, if you can only afford one lens in your bag, this is the one I think you should get because it is extremely versatile. It goes 17-55, which covers a lot of range. And if you're shooting 4K video, you've got a little bit of extra resolution. If you're publishing in HD, you can zoom in on that footage another 50 millimeters or so. So this lens alone is very powerful. Not only that, but it goes 2.8. It's super fast. Get that real artsy, blurry bokeh effect on things. This thing has been a workhorse for me. I've been using this thing for almost 12 years now, and I've actually had it repaired twice, and now it's doing something funky on me. It won't focus, so it's time to get this thing repaired. But I'm going to give it a break. I'm going to retire it. I'll use it every once in a while when I need that super fast aperture. I thank this lens for all the work it's done for me, and I'm looking forward to putting these two through the same paces. Okay, now let's try the 10-18 and see what this looks like. This lens is the 10-18, and I don't know, do you notice anything else? Does it still look sharp and crisp and beautiful? Does all this still look beautiful? All right, let's go to full wide and see how wide this thing can go. We'll just go ahead and do this live. All right, there it is, all the way pulled back. I feel like I've got so much more space in here. It's so open and airy. I could sing. Stop that. You're not going to do a song while I'm here. But yeah, that's pretty wide. I mean, do you need much wider? Is there any fisheyeing going on? Do you see any fisheyeing? I'm a little concerned about fisheyeing with a lens that's at this price point. However, Photoshop does a pretty good job of lens correction in the RAW editor. So for photographs, I'm not too worried. But for video, I wonder if they make a lens corrector for video yet. Probably do. I'll look into that. If there is fisheye. If there's no fisheye, then there's no problem. We got no problem here. We got an old-fashioned shootout here, kids. We are going to match up the 10-18 EFS against the 17-55 EF. This here is my pride and joy lens. Love this thing. And on this side, we've got the 18-200 millimeter EFS going up against the 70-200 EF-L series lens. Ooh, L. Okay, let's get outside, let's do some shooting, put these things up next to each other, and see how they do. All right, we are here at my Saturday morning pickup soccer game, and I've asked them if it's all right if I take some photos and some video of them, and they said as long as I provide 8x10 glasses of each of them, that they're cool with it. So first lens up is the 70-200. We'll shoot some video, we'll shoot a couple photos, then we'll switch to the 18-200. And I've got the circular polarizer on here, and you can see when I turn it, it goes from blown out white to nice deep blue. So you can see what kind of difference that makes. Freeman wants that one back. Let's give the 18 to 200 a shot. Okay, now we've got the 18 to 200 on the camera. We'll shoot some video. We don't have the luxury of going below 4.5, so gonna have to slow the shutter speed down and maybe raise the ISO a little bit. Let's get our UV filter into place. Yep, that looks good. No, I didn't.
Hey, I got a travel hack for you. Fly out of TJ. Oh yeah. I got a ticket. You get there for specific voices. I went to Barca. Eliminate them. It was $100,000 now. Get it out of here. Walker, pass the ball. No. You're mine. You should ask them more on your face. What was that, Robbie?
All right, now we've got the 17 to 55 on the camera. Once again, get our circular polarizer popping. Obviously with this camera we're limited on our zoom quite a bit. This is about as tight as we can get with the 55. But we can get nice and wide with the 17 there. But you'd still need to man the camera. It can't get both goals. Unless I take a few steps back, it's not going to get both goals in the frame. All right, we got the 10 to 18 on the camera now. This is at 18 millimeters, so it's very similar to 17. Can't quite get both goalposts in the shot, but if we pull back to 10, I got one goalpost over there, and I've almost got the other goalpost over there. So we're very close. I'm only a couple feet away from being able to pull the whole field into the frame, which could be nice if you just want to set up the camera, hit record, and let it go, as long as your batteries and your media will hold out. But yeah, once again, the circular polarizer bringing that sky in nice and blue. That's a nice, clean image. I'm really excited about this. Let's see what ISO. I'm at 5.6. So you're not really getting much of any blur in the background, but still, it's a nice sharp image. If we go with a slow shutter speed and a more pinpoint aperture, and everything's in focus. All right, I'm liking the way that looks. So let's take some photos and we'll move on. The one thing I would recommend getting for these lenses is maybe a shade. Now it's gonna be kind of tricky on the 10 to 18 because that thing is so wide, so your shade's gonna look pretty funky, or it's gonna be super shallow. But having a little bit of shade protection will reduce the glare on these little guys. So maybe look into getting one of those rubber ones that can expand and contract. I love those things. Those things are great. Also, you're gonna wanna protect your lens, so UV filters are always a good idea. Throw one of those on there. It's not gonna affect your image at all, and it's gonna save that front piece of glass from getting scratched. Always a good idea. And don't forget to pet them and give them compliments from time to time. Oh, you're so good. You're my little lens. Who's my little lens? You're my little lens. You're my little. Yeah, they actually really like it when you kind of pet them and give them little words of encouragement. Tell them they're doing a good job. These two lenses, they're punching above their weight. You know, they're punching way above their weight. I can't say enough great things about these. All right, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And we'll see you next time.